Listen. Yeah. Yes, God. Oh. Get that out of there.
Now that I'm thinking about it, looking basically at what this video is going to be about, I'm like, why didn't I just put like a backdrop of where I was at for this trip? But hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Matty-Rants. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to talk a little bit about the trip that I just took recently to Puerto Vallarta during Pride, and I wanted to share a couple of different stories with you of like some highlights that happened, almost to be like encouraging. If you wanted to travel, most certainly do so. Y'all know you were a part of this process of making it happen. So I, again, wanted to give you a little bit of tea and a little bit of insight as to what went down, what was going on, plus some story times, if you will. So I do plan on doing edited videos for this adventure. I most certainly recorded a lot. I recorded so much that even for this video, I couldn't put so much together because it was already taking up so much space on my computer. On top of the footage I shot with my Osmo Pro 3 over here, that currently, there's the 4K is so much space. So I'm trying to condense a lot of things down, and I'm going to try to have that all together next week. But today, I was like, before I do the Saturday show for All Stars 10, I wanted to just do like a fun little video and share some things with you. And yeah, all that good stuff. So I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. If you haven't watched the episode for All Stars 10, I highly encourage it. It was it was a time, and people are living and breathing, and then there's folks that are not so happy. But for me, I was given a lot, and I most certainly was happy and enjoyed it down. So that's just where it was at, if you will. But yes, I'm excited to talk about this trip with you today, and so much that happened. It was just an eye-opening experience on multiple levels. For me, I needed, I guess, to have some things happen and for me to be proven wrong at times when I just sort of go to like a headspace, if you will. And it taught me some lessons, but yeah, I'm here for it. So if you did want to find me in my social media spaces and places, they're all in the about section of this YouTube channel. Just check me out over there. There's a Linktree link. I also do reactions on Patreon. The All Stars 10 reaction is currently uploading. It should have already been posted, but it like stopped midway through. So I had to like delete it, re-upload it again. And currently, let's take a look at where it's at. It's at 48%. I did a high definition upload today. So I was trying my best to give you some good quality over there on Patreon. So if you want to be a part of my Patrons for as low as $1 a month, go ahead and check it out. I appreciate all the support over there. The PO Box, if you want to send me anything, I am an affiliate partner with Paramount Plus. So if you wanted a free week on me, get you some. And also merch available at dragqueenmerch.com. And I am on Cameo. I just fulfilled a request. Shout out to you. All the good stuff. I don't need a disclaimer today because this is about my trip. There was really nothing negative that happened here. If you did want to throw me a little bit of love, it does go a long, long way. I unfortunately did have my card compromised in Mexico. Bump, bump, bump. And it has put me in a little stressful position waiting for the first, which is, of course, rent day. So any bit of love is going to be very much helpful in reference to that while I'm waiting for them to give me my money back because they're looking over at least 5 days worth of charges. Yes, I had my card compromised from the day I got there. Did not know until I got home because I told myself not to look at said card because I only used it one time and I used my PayPal card for the rest of the trip. And I didn't have any issues with my PayPal card, but that other card, which is the card I paid my rent with, that one. So I have a new card coming in the mail. I am already in the process of disputing about, like, right now it's like 16 charges from very small to some interesting ones. And yeah, so that is my one negative thing about the trip outside of kind of jacking my knee up a little bit, just a tad bit. There's a story behind the knee. I'm okay with the knee being jacked up a tad bit only because I was having so much fun that day. I didn't even know like I messed my knee up or whatever, but like it is what it is. This was that kind of trip, if you will. I went to Puerto Vallarta, and honestly, out of every vacation I've ever taken in my entire life, even as a kid, like that was my favorite trip beyond every trip possible. And I think the last day I was there, that was like the emphasis of, okay, this is why people have passports. This is why people travel out the country. This is why they go places where what they want to do and how they want to feel can all come together, and it's not going to mess anything up. And that was my trip, especially over the fact that it was during Pride and it was like the gays are out. And so for me, I felt like I could dress and do what I wanted to do without any sort of like, okay, they're going to be like this, it's going to be like that. They're expecting a certain kind of look and whatever. So for me, I was out there in my shortest of shorts. I was wearing tank tops, like mind you, I had been working out. I was ready to show the body, like all that kind of stuff. And most of my clothes were too big. Even the stuff that I ordered online was giving too big. And I was just like, this isn't what I wanted to feel this trip. So I ended up shopping locally and paid in pesos. Shout out to the shop. And it was owned by this gay couple. And I got this really cute tank top. I actually wore it in the video yesterday that I did for All Stars 10. And I was just giving what needed to be given, girl. Now the croppy toppy, oh, that was the day. The day I was wearing that crop top, that was the day. The girls were giving and all that kind of good stuff. Like I was really here for it. Like I was very much being manifesty. Everybody was living for the ab work and stuff like that. It was right with the money. So the crop top day, when I was wearing those black shorts too, that was the day. And then I promised myself I would wear the caftan. And y'all know I haven't worn that caftan since like what was that? My birthday in San Diego with Dooley and Blake and everybody that was there for that. That was such a wonderful experience. But like, I haven't worn it since then. I have really not. I've done videos with it on, but like, I've never felt my jush enough to like wear it again. And I brought it to Miami. I didn't wear it in Miami. I was like, oh, Matt, come on. But it was Pride, and I wore it on this yacht that I thought was going to be full of a bunch of also queer people too. And I was completely wrong. And we'll get to that story in a second, because that was one of my favorite moments, if not my favorite day during that trip, because I was taught a lesson. And I also learned about judging people prematurely. And also having conversations with folks of different political views. That went well. That wasn't gross. And it was like, what is happening? It was a very interesting day. I don't know if everybody was just drunk and not on some bullshit, but it was like, I learned a lot that day. Also, jumping into the Pacific Ocean in this yacht. You know, Matty jumping from that's one of my bucket list goals. I finally can say I've done that. Being stung by a jellyfish. But being so drunk that it didn't really hurt. To the full bit of like going through an old Spanish town and doing the 5 elements for no odd reason, because everybody was just so lit. It's going to be some fun stories. So I want to show you and start this off. This is like my view every morning. Okay. From the Airbnb that we were at. If I'm going to say something about the flight, it wasn't bad. It was like a 2.5-hour flight. It was a full flight. So there was really no, what's the word I'm looking for here? No really room to breathe. And what's honestly funny is that everybody that was on our flight, I kid you not, at least 70% of the people that were on the flight that we left on Friday were on the Tuesday flight for the same flight. I'm like, okay, are we all booking through the same travel agency here? Or are we doing like some like other stuff? Like what's going on? Like what's happening? I don't know, but it was just kind of funny because you could see everybody was on the come down when we came back. Like when we were all going there, everyone's like, okay, hyped. We're going, for Pride. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's gonna be a fun time. But going home, yes, we were all tired because it was nonstop party, 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 party the entire time. But no, we got this really great Airbnb. Shout out to my friend for booking this and like setting up the entire itinerary. We didn't follow it to the T, but we did do like a really, a good job. So we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So 4 days. Well, that's 4 nights, really. Well, no, because then, 4 days, 4 nights, because Tuesday was the last day that we were there. And then we went home and, I made it back Tuesday evening. So I made it to Puerto Vallarta like at 2:00 in the afternoon. Currency exchange. Let me tell you how Matty got. I'm just going to be... should never listen to my friends. And I love them down, but I was into peer pressure. But also, I have to explain some things because I did have to apologize at the beginning of this trip because I was a bitch. I'm not going to lie. Now, we had one of our friends drop out at the last second, and that super sucked because we really wanted him to go. But he dropped out. I don't know why. It's none of my business, but it was last second, so everybody felt really bad. That meant that one of the rooms that was supposed to be two double, it was like a double and 2 doubles in one room, 2 doubles in another room. One of those rooms is going to be just one person. Now, the people who are up for said position are one person who I've been known, who is my good Judy, down, love you, Adrian, and another one, Darian, who I have not met fully yet. We like saw each other like one time, but it was not like a full on meet and greet. But this time, since now is now my like good friend, that's my good Judy or whatever. That was he come on, Matthew. Okay. He became a new friend. There we go. I was trying to get my words together because bitch, we spent a lot of time together and Darian's my Judy. So regardless of all that, this is the beginning of the trip. Now we all paid our money, we all paid the same price, blah, all that good stuff. And I know this can sound crazy, but the Libra in me, I wasn't able to do it. My friend was like, this is what you're all going to have to do for that room. You're going to have to play a game of Lucky Bastard. And the person who wins best 2 out of 3 gets the room. I said, oh, wait a minute. We're putting this up to games, to playing a game? And a game that I haven't played in a second, too. Again, when we started playing the game, I was like, okay, I remember. However, I'm like, this is right before I'm getting on my flight. I'm thinking I'm going to get away with just simply saying, can I have the room? Because you know how I am. I need my space. My introvert extrovertness of it all, to where I have to like be separated a little bit so I can come back out again. And it is what it is. However, my other friend, he got sleep apnea. So I was like, okay, I get if he needs the room. Blah, blah, blah. I understand all that. Darian may just need it just for... I got all that, but I was something about being put up to Lucky. I was I was so not. I couldn't do it. I am in that airport throwing a whole fit, and I'm so mad at myself. But I was. I was so mad. I was like, no, because I was like, my friend, I hate losing games, and you know how uncompetitive I am. And now we're gonna like right before we go on this trip, and I'm thinking peace and just all that. We're about to do that. No. Because then Adrian like, well, I don't care. I said, uh-oh. He said, you don't care. That's a vote. I'm mistress in this moment. No shade. Like, that's a vote. You said you don't care? Well, then you don't need the room. Bam. Bow. All right, Darian. Well, it doesn't matter to me. That's 2 votes of they don't care. That means they get to be in a room together because guess who cares? I get the 2 points. Boom. Cut. Like, nope, that's it. And my friend was like, no. I'm like, I said, nope. They just said that. Okay, no. Let me have it. Thank you. They let me have it. Boom, that's done. Now, I needed a moment to cool off because I had just went off about this whole fucking room situation. I felt like such an asshole. I did. I felt so bad. I love my friends, but I was like, bitch, I want to fight. Like, there is no way that I'm not gonna get this. I was on that level. Like, there's just no way. There's just no way. Get in this damn room. But I also realized that is how we just started this trip off. And I was like, no, I can't do this. So I then proceeded to go, listen, no, I don't like how that went down. If you want the room, you can get the room. And they're like, no, Matt, you can get it. I get it. Like, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm just weird about space when it comes to vacations and me needing to decompress because I know how I'm going to be on this trip. Like, I plan to get drunk. I plan to have fun. And I also know I need a moment to just separate myself and all that. And we're already going to be sharing a bathroom. And it was just like, we're letting it go. And then I apologized to my friend. And my way of, again, paying this back was my friend was, he was going to pay for the excursion ride that we're going to do. But I was like, again, because I love you and I feel bad, I was like, let me just go ahead and pay for it. So I paid for his portion of the excursion. And then for the other one, I paid for like their first drinks. So it was just like, that was my way. I was like, okay, we can move through this. And I do apologize. But regardless of all that, it ended up working out because the rooms were really, really cute. That and my room ended up being a single bed anyway. Now, that was the real kicker because in the photos before we got to this location, it said that it was 2 rooms with 4 beds, but it ended up being 1 room with 2 beds and one room with 1 bed. And that was the room that I ended up getting. So it was like, oh, well, that was kind of meant to be. Anyways, like if we had separated, it wouldn't have been just like one person sitting in a room with 2 beds. It would have been, oh, well, you were supposed to have that kind of room. Also, with my room compared to their room, child, I had more wildlife, so they got lucky. Regards, I had things in my room. I had a gecko at one point in time on the wall. There was a carpenter ant. It had to be whatever a big. I'm talking about an ant that I've never seen an ant so big in my entire life. It was so fucking huge, and it was just walking across the room, and I could just. I mean, I'm looking at it from far away, like it's this in front of me. I'm like, this is a big motherfucker, just slowly walking. Hey, what's going on? Could have spoken everything. My name's Fred. Scared the shit out of me. I was like, oh, if that bit me in the middle of the night. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, because we were in the mountains. We were in the Zona de Romantica, which is the gay zone, to be very honest with you, out there. It's very queer friendly. Everything is very queer. All the bars, this, that, and the other. And so we got this really great Airbnb that's like right in the old part of, as the guy was explaining, Puerto Vallarta, with the Zona de Romantica, where everything's cobblestone. Now, the bad part about all this is that okay. The bad part about all this, it is steep. And he told me when it's raining and during that season in the cars, like that stuff is scary. Like the cars be going out of their transmissions be blowing this, that, and the other while they're trying to get up the road. And I got to tell you, for even us during the sunny, very dry weather, high 90-degree weather, those cars, everyone that we were in, woo, it was like a struggle to get up. You could hear the cars groaning and moaning. I was like, oh my God, it's so scary. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. But like, honestly, super scared to have a car out there. I was like, I don't know if I would want a car living out here if I wanted to, which I most certainly felt like I do want to live. I can totally see why there are expats in Puerto Vallarta. I completely understand. After my visit, I was like, oh, okay, I totally get it. Totally. Especially if you work like remote and you don't have to like go into the office and everything is via, oh my God, bitch. I was looking at the requirements to move. I kid you not, before the end of the trip. I was very much like, this is interesting. I also met a couple of nomad expat people on this trip that were very inspiring. And another person who also is like in YouTube, TikTok world, that like was telling me how they're doing it. And I was like, what? And it was just so interesting to hear their takes and stories on this. But like, it was interesting. Anywho, this place was super gorgeous. Let me see if I have any more video footage of this while I push on through our story here. But the flight was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. This is the outside of the villa that we were in. It was 3 stories. There was a main bedroom on the top with its own bathroom and balcony. Then on the middle floor is the entire living room, as well as kitchen, laundry room, plus a half bath. And then it was a full balcony that also surrounds the entire building. There was a pool downstairs, as you can see from right here. And then down there, as you can look, let me go ahead and get this up. Again, this will be also a short that I post on here, as well as an edited video. These are all 3 bedrooms. So that was 1 bedroom with 1 king size bed, but it had its own bathroom. That was for one of the couples. And then this bedroom right here was the 2 doubles. And then that was my room over here. And so my room, while I enjoyed it tucked off in the corner, I'm going to tell y'all some tea about this one place that is, it really did bother me a tad bit. Like, everything about it was so cool, but there are some things I need to discuss. So the one, there is no air conditioning in the living room at all. Not at all, because you can just open up the entire balcony. All that slides open to where it's just an open living room and kitchen. I kid you not. All that glass can just be slid like one thing. So it's really fucking cool. Okay. However, in the hottest of seasons, when you're also trying to keep the wildlife out, because there are lemurs, and I did see lemurs. I think I actually filmed this too. I have a lot of footage. I filmed a lot. There were lemurs, new kinds of birds I've never seen before that were absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, new insects I've never seen before. The spiders, wow. The mosquitoes, wow. Like, it was a wild take. Oh yes. Certain forms of lemur work and all that kind of shit I saw out there, because they were like, people said monkeys. I'm like, that's not a monkey. But then I looked at it, I said, this, honey, what is this? And I'm talking about, bitch, this one night, y'all, I'm out there because we was, toking it up. By the way, if you go to Puerto Vallarta and you go to the beach, they are going to just walk up to you and sell you everything every 5 seconds, nonstop. Just prepare yourself for that. I was like, I wonder if we're going to be able to find some ganja out. Oh my goodness. How easy that was. How simple it was to simply walk out of the Airbnb and take maybe half a mile from where we were and simply be immediately. On top of other things that we were not going to use, because once they said the thing that rhymes with Holly, I was like, excuse me? No. Then it was straight up rhymes with track. I said, oh, no, absolutely not. Hold up. We're not done there, baby. This motherfucker said, and then I can't say these words, so I have to use things that rhyme with it. I'm going to say mayo, but you know what I mean. And I haven't heard that narcotic in a minute. I was like, wait a what? Like the other, once you say ganja, I said, okay, we're good there. It's not mayo, but it rhymes with that, especially the last part. I ain't heard of that one in a long time. I was like, I haven't heard this since high school. I was like, what? It was wild to hear that shit and then them show it to you. It was wild to me. I was like, what is this? Oh my goodness. Jose, that has to be it, honestly. That sounds exactly like what they were. I mean, they weren't like trying to they weren't aggressive in any sort of way. It was just really interesting when I would see them, because they would be going into the trees and eating directly off the fruit, and also in the flowers too, because the flowers were also being eaten by these squirrels that were not brown. In Texas, the squirrels out here are like brown and like a little chocolatey brown sort of color, but out in Puerto Vallarta, it's smoky gray. And they're slender. They don't look like they've got big old heads like the ones out here in the States. They're very slender and sleek, but they definitely were squirrels. But it was cool seeing them in different colors. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was really weird. And then there were these, I want to say pheasants. I don't know if I was right or wrong about this, but they were in different colors. There was this big red one, a big blue one. And then there were these other birds. I looked up the name of this. They were black and yellow. gorgeous. Every time I saw them, I was like, this is wild, bro. Hummingbirds everywhere. Like, it was awesome to wake up every day. I would most certainly book this Airbnb again and recommend it to people, especially with large groups too, because it was very much set up for that. But also to expect a lot of wildlife and stuff. And if that stuff scares the crap out of you, be prepared, because I did go into a kitchen one time and try to prepare myself something and went to the sink, and a gecko did jump the fuck out the sink. Don't even know how it got in there. Scared the crap out of me. Scared the crap out of me. I will never forget that moment. I'm talking about hollered in the middle of the night. It's like 2 a.m. Like, fully, I've had way too much tequila. I'm just trying to prepare myself something to eat before I can go to sleep for the night. Scared the crap out of me, but I was like, whoa. But that was it. But the other thing about the place, that I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. The bathroom for the one for downstairs on the 3rd floor, where you see our rooms at right here, you could see directly into the bathroom if you were walking up the walkways that lead to the villas. You could see directly into the bathroom, like toilet, shower, all that. They had one branch bullshit ass cover for the shower part for people that walked up on a certain portion of the walkway. But as we, on the many occasions, kept going home and walking up to the unit, we're all looking dead ass into it like, girl. So when I tell you, my brain and my body, oh, I'm so serious. So serious. My brain, because the glass is just open. Like, you could just look right in there. If I was pooping, whatever. I learned when sunset and sunrise happened, and when the lights turned off in the walkways. When I tell you, my body knew at 5 a.m. in the morning, be up before anybody else in this bitch. Before the sun got up, and do all of your duties. And that's what I was doing. That was the only way I was surviving out there. It gave me very camp tease when I had to be there with all those people. I was like, I can't do this, mama. I learned I was very shy. So no, I was able to survive that way without getting any sort of kidney infection. So yes. But it was such a trip. It would be such a trip, because I'd always have to go to the other half bathroom some of the times, because it's just like, you're gonna use the bathroom. If you're trying to shower, I'm like, baby, I'm not trying to have these people see me. Like, it was I had to wait until the lights was down. That was the one part about it. So I think they should have some better covers for that specific place, but our unit was very much in the center of it all. But there were a bunch of different ones too. And they also had like a restaurant that was like the dining experience in one of those places. And then like one of them was like this whole yoga studio that was just built for that. It was wild to see how that place was built for both tourists and then people to just live there too. So it was very interesting. But our unit was fucking awesome. I loved it. It was amazing. It was a good time to be had by all. So this is the view that we had from Barcelona. Tapas. It's this first restaurant that we went to. It's a tapas bar, as you can tell. And I did have some amazing chicken skewers, as well as this wonderful garlic bread with goat cheese that was just divine, if you will, because they wanted to do like some like get up and go, like, I'm sorry, excuse me, the let's get dressed dinner. But then I looked at the what we're looking for about I looked at the dress code and it was like resort casual. I was like, girl, casual. We gonna be all right. Ain't nobody gonna worry about us. But it was a beautiful view. There were fireworks that happened at 9 p.m. like every night. It was so like interesting. It was like a little weird. It was kind of cool. I don't know. It was such a thing. Like, I don't, to me, it threw me off, because I was like, what is going on? Is this like every night? Like, or is it just for pride? But I thought it was such a like beautiful place. Totally would recommend the food. It was awesome. Okay, so I definitely got to go down to the Malacon, and do this full walk on the boardwalk. I highly recommend it. It's so long, one, but two, there is so much to look at and there is so much to do. And like these, of course, structures of art are absolutely gorgeous and everything, but it's the experience of sort of like going down the boardwalk and just seeing the different vendors, this, that, and the other, and some things that you're going to want to pick up and take home, because it's very like, what is this? What's happening here? I will say though that the beach over there is a bit rocky. um, we did go to this one little. They have like these cabanas that are attached to restaurants, like based off of that pier, right? And we found one. This is not specifically that area, but this is just to show you that there's definitely a lot of rocks over there. So if you ever got to that beach specifically, back over here. Hold on. Come on, Maddie. Come on, Maddie. Where is it? Boom. Right back here, right over here, like in this area. Because we went to several restaurants near this, as well as this like restaurant that had this cabana place that we actually sat outside and swam and stuff. Do not go in that water unless you have some swimming shoes. It is rock city. Some were sharp, some were smooth, but it was very fucking scary. I'm going to just tell you that because at points in time when the current was pulling at me, I could feel my feet dragging and I was so afraid because I've sliced my foot before, but I did it in Galveston and I do not wish that pain on anybody. I do not wish that pain. So I got really nervous. There was another portion of the beach on the Malacon that was by the gay resort that was over there. That didn't have no rocks over there. That one was fun, but I did get swimmer's ear really, really bad because the waves were extremely huge and they were definitely a very strong current that happened. And I kept getting sucked under, as well as my friends trying to save my hair. Hair was gone. Somehow it survived. I don't know. Thank God my braider knew we're going to do a tight hairstyle. You're going to be doing a lot. But it was a little bit scary. I will say that water got in my ear. It started burning so bad. My throat started hurting at the same time. I was so scared. And I just had to hold my head for like at least an hour. And it finally came out. And I was like, oh my God. It was just too much to take it. I do not like that feeling. But I would say if you do not know how to swim, do not risk it. Make sure you stay in the shallow waters if you just want a little bit of something. But we had a friend that went out there that didn't know how to swim. And it was like, okay, now baby, I'm gonna need you go right back. Don't play this game. We're not doing lifeguard today. If we have to, we will, but it is what it is. Now, let me talk about the food again because I don't think I can ever go back to Tex-Mex. I don't think I can ever go back to Tex-Mex. I'm sorry. There were several restaurants that I found myself really loving. The one that I loved the most, though, was called Republic. If you want to look it up, do so. It's in Zona Romantica. It's in the gay zone. It's very gay friendly. We broke off from the group at one point because one group wanted to go to the grocery store and the other group wanted to just like sort of like peruse and go find liquor because we, didn't want to just buy drinks out all the time and trying to save some money. I wanted to go to the grocery group, but they were like, there's not going to be room in the car. I was like, what? I said, okay, I guess. So I ended up going with this group. We were hungry already from the flight. Ain't no meal for a 2.5-hour flight. And we were supposed to wait till dinner, but I was like, And the rest of the group who I was with, shout out to Adrian, Troy, and Darren, we was like, nah, bitch, we are hungry. So we found this restaurant and it was like, the deal was buy one meal, get the other half off. Sold. Then you're going to tell me that during happy hour, all margaritas are for the small price, not for the jumbo price. Oh, so a jumbo for a small caboose. The quesadilla was wonderful. The beans were great. Again, my first time having guacamole that I actually liked. I was confusia. Birria tacos. Oh my goodness. Who knew? Who knew? Like, I've enjoyed them out here, but baby, oh, you just do not understand it. Oh, I was trying so hard not to gain weight while I was out there because I was going to be wearing some skimpy clothes. It was a very, very deep struggle for Maddie. I was eating. I definitely tried so many things. Okay, tried so many things. Wait a minute. Rudy says, I need to know how you got de-radicalized. Rudy says, thank you so much for the super chat. We're going to get there. We haven't gotten to the boat that taught Maddie some things. We haven't gotten there yet. We're going to get there. Thank you so much for the super chat, though. And thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Become part of this Rant Pack family. If you want to throw me a little bit of love for everybody hosting with the most in today, help me out, especially after this trip. Please and thank you. It's PayPal.me/MattyRants, Cash App $Matt924, as well as $MattyRants and Venmo MattyRants. Appreciate you for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow is All Stars 10, Episode 5, Rant and Review, because that's what we're going to call it, for this week's episode. So make sure you tune into that. We're going to have the best time going over that episode, and of course, the panel on Sunday. Also, I see that my reaction is almost uploaded to Vimeo. So if you're a part of my Patreon, you'll be having that reaction as soon as this video is posted. Thanks again for tuning in. Oh my goodness gracious. I miss juice, but I definitely had a ginger margarita. A ginger margarita. Never had, never tasted, didn't even know it existed. Ginger margarita. I don't know how I'm going to be able to process any other margaritas that I taste, try, and go forward with after that one, because if you know me, you know what my drink of choice is. What? The big two. Okay, it's really the big. Well, is it the big two? It's the big two, because I am a pineapple Malibu from the bar. If I want my rummy tum tum kind of feel, that's where I'm at. But my other two is, if I see it on the menu, excuse me, bring it over here, a Moscow Mule, or any mule in particular, as long as it's in the copper cup. You have found my place. I don't know what has become of me as this person that now I like ginger beer and vodka together, sometimes tequila, because apparently that's what happened over here. And yes, what a wonderful world. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With the tequila and the ginger, oh my God, it was everything. Republic doesn't owe me anything. Nothing at all. This breakfast, we need to talk about. So I had this breakfast on the beach. Yeah, we like things like that. I didn't know personally, but we were on the beach. We were not on the pier. No, baby. We were on the sand and the beach, and the water was right there with the table. That was brunch, right? Now, that piece of chicken you're probably looking at going, what's happening? What's wrong with it? I said the same thing too. Because when I bit into that bitch, she said, so, oh my God, it bit back. That piece of chicken had been sitting there for so long before it got to me. It forgot what temperature it needed to be. So we're going to leave that piece of chicken alone, and we're going to just look at the eggs. We're going to look at those black beans, especially, and what you may look at as just peppers, but those are actually potatoes too. Now, this restaurant was called, hold on, Matthew, because again, I'm going to do a whole video of me narrating the foolery and explaining this meal. I'm doing the polite, light favor of doing this. Where we go? Where I look at this menu at? I don't know. It was Kuwaits and Uets. Y'all gotta forgive me. My Spanish and Duolingo was put to the test out here, and I was very much finding out that I needed way more lessons. So I want to give a shout out to Jafandra, my friend Jeff, the one that y'all saw in the Luffy hat, who was more proficient in Spanish than all of us in the group and was needed and necessary for multiple occasions and persuasions. Because I was like, oh, I don't know a goddamn thing. I didn't. My Duolingo was do a flopping. I would have failed that challenge. My sister could not have been on Le Dragmas. Nope, couldn't be. Couldn't have happened. So let's talk about this breakfast. The eggs needed salt and pepper. When we got it, it was given. It was good. Yada. It was a lot of C and a lot of gracias. No comprendo. It was also muy poquito when they asked for, if you know Spanish. It was like, but also we found out a lot of people from Houston were out there that live in Puerto Vallarta now. So it was kind of easy to talk to certain folks. And then also the way the dollar worked out, we got on a couple occasions, and then other times it was like it worked in our advantage. So it was very interesting. But the eggs were good when we got where we needed to go. The true stars are those black beans and the potatoes. Now, I don't do peppers. I ate every bit of it on that table. I ate all of it with the potato and the big ass pepper. They were seasoned right. It tasted good. I was so happy. But the star of this, and you will be gagged, those black beans on that table, I have never, and I'm talking about the fact that all of us that had the black beans had near just God-given experiences out of it. I'm talking about all of us had to go, oh my God. We kept, everybody just was like, oh my, do we need to just order like just by itself right now? Because like, oh my God, it tasted so, I have never had black beans so seasoned so well. And then the goat cheese, I've never thought of goat cheese on top. Oh, not a lick of it was left, y'all. I swear to you, I wanted to lick the plate. It was that good. I love those black beans. I had to tell them, I'm like, please tell the chef. I don't know what it is, and it may be just some simple ass recipe, but as some American that just has Tex-Mex and all that jazz, and it's giving very from the candy, sweetie. Mwah, that was wonderful. Thank you. So the breakfast ended up being a bop, and my friend also let me have his French toast that was giving too. It was what it was, but it was also the experience of being on the beach and eating breakfast with your friends, like after like a very drunk night. That was just the best, right? But also, what I will say I didn't care for is that the beach vendors were also coming up to us at the table trying to sell us things, which was annoying. But again, that's the life out there. But what made it more annoying, I should say, is the fact that they also were bringing like food too. And it was like, girl, like they bring the lobsters on the stick. And I'm just like, girl, what is happening here, sweet baby Jesus? Like, let us come on. You see, we waiting on the food. What's going on? They kept on trying to give me jewelry. They knew I was the real punk of the group. I was like, oh, okay. But they had these bracelets that said stuff like very vulgar things, like blank pig, and spoojizzacom, like, receiver and all that kind of stuff, and like heavy top and all this kind of crap and the bottom stuff. I was like, what the fuck is this? And they kept on showing us the F Trump one. That was the one that they kept showing us the most. I was like, I don't know, because they know it was, but a bunch of black dudes. But it's funny that they were just like, and I was like, do you show that to all the people? They kept showing that one in particular, like that's the big seller. I was like, okay, I got that shit was so funny to me. The one regret I do have is not having enough pesos. I only have a $10 peso left over from this adventure. They had this guy who made marionettes that was walking the beach. He was the only one I saw do. It was just one guy because there weren't a bunch of them, and I saw it was only one guy, and he had marionette dolls, and they were fucking fabulous. I was like, oh my God. And they were made out of wood and painted. And I was thinking to myself, oh, now I am so evil. I did not have enough for them. But he had like a Sonic the Hedgehog, he had like an actual Pinocchio one that looked like it just looked perfect. I was like, oh my God. Because I'm a puppet person. Hello, I have the same birthday as Jim Henson. I am a Muppet puppet sort of, fan and stuff like that. I love it. I love shit like that. So I was just like, oh my God, I was so mad I didn't have enough for it. But it was, I had to give him his props because I was like, wow, you made those? He was like, yes. I was like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. It was really good. It was really good. So, okay, my video is uploaded, so I will not have an issue posting it to Patreon afterwards. All right, where are we about to go into this adventure? Oh, I had some authentic ice cream. This is sorbet, actually, that I got from this very, very good ice cream place because I wanted some Mexican ice cream or something of like authentic resource out there or whatnot. And I got to tell you, bitch, that sorbet. Woo! Oh, look at me being day two with my one scoop. Oh, baby, because I was wearing nothing at this point. I was walking around with my little, my little swimwear on. So I was like, we gotta be cute when we eat this. But When I tell you that was slapping, the gelato, I taste tested the gelato too that they had there, and the like other ice cream that was like specific. Everything was like in Spanish, so it was like I was just like, let me just try everything. Whoa! It was. Mm-hmm. I love how this woman, and I kid you not, it wasn't necessarily Italian ice cream because it was the way that they did theirs specifically that was interesting. And then there was one that had, I don't know if it was tahini or whatever that was on it that kind of gagged me that I really, really liked. And then they had this lime one that was really good and this coconut one that I liked too. I was like, what the fuck is this? But it was great. Um, this woman in the restaurant was like, and it kind of gooped me because when I paid for the bill, it was like $5 for the scoop. And I was thinking to myself, I go to Baskin and Robbins. That's pretty fucking normal. But it was the way she said something like, oh, it's kind of pricey, but you'll like it. And we were like, what? Like it was the, I don't know if she thought too, like maybe it was too rich for our blood. I don't know what she assumed, but my friend looked at her like, oh, okay, so I'll take 2 scoops with the waffle. She was trying to be helpful, but that shit was weird. It was like, what you mean it's too pricey? Why would you say that in front of these people while we're trying to walk in here and get ice cream? It's pricey, but you gonna like Miss Girl, calm down. Anyway, the ice cream was wonderful. The food out there was excellent and all that. So as you can see, I wore my caftan, but this is the day that we went on the yacht. We're about to, I guess, dive on in. And we're gonna dive on into that day. Yes, because that's exactly what I did. I dived from a fucking yacht, bitch. Okay, in the middle of the god blessed ocean. Do you understand me? And I gave what needed to be given, if you will, because this yacht ride was a wild journey. Let me tell you what we paid for and what you receive for this yacht ride. Okay, you get to travel to a secluded area to do snorkeling, wave waveboarding, kayaking, uh, all that kind of stuff. Okay, you can have a professional photographer. You pay for the experience, but they are already taking pictures throughout all of it. You get professional shots. This is one of the professional shots. I'm not showing everything because I have to do a video on this, but this is one of the shot. This is like some lady, shout out to her because she got some great shots of us, of me just jumping off. I actually did 360s, if you will. So when I jumped off, I initially was going to do a flip, but I was like, I'm not about to stun these people. So I did the 360 spin. So I did about at least 3 of them. Do the math. That's too much for me right now. Yeah. So I went in there and was like, just basically spun all the way in there, kept my toes down. They were gooped. They were like, oh, the guy was like, come on, form. Because I held it in tight. Was like, yeah. Very much Storm in Last Stand. Okay. Very much Mama flying in the sky and saying, yeah, very, very that hurricane on him. But I've never done that before in my life. I never thought in my wildest dreams I would do something like that. I'm getting emotional talking about it because I've been such a scaredy cat of a lot of stuff in my life and not taking risk and things, especially with like a crowd of people I do not fucking know and being afraid of people like overjudging and being sensitive or whatever. So for me, like this, especially in this newfound form that I'm in, I was like, I'm just going to do fucking whatever and I don't care. And that was a lot of what this trip was about for me. And this is how like me meeting up with Jaida happened, which I'm about to get to in a second here. And then talk about the drag race girls that I saw in the wild, including somebody who is currently on, Rolling Stone did a whole article about them. Yes. And seeing them out and about and was like, what? But it was not surprising that they were out there, but yes, it was interesting. This was also my mom's birthday, was this day. So I already woke up in a very emotional headspace. And it was our last final big day of being in Puerto Vallarta. And we were there as a group. We had woke up at 6 o'clock that morning and got this yacht. We did not know that the yacht was going to be full of people. The yacht itself can hold up to 100. There were 75 of us. So I'm in a caftan. I'm here in my full sysadry, if you will. Okay. And there are different kinds of people coming up. There are some gay folks. It's like, okay. Then you see full families. of all kinds of MAGA persuasion, all that kind of stuff. And it was very jarring because it's like, okay, I know that Pride just happened and it's still like this, what is what it is, but what is happening here? Like, what's going on? I was in fucking panic mode. I kid you not. And I was already prejudging the situation based off the people I could see. And I was gearing up to read and roast and do all the rest of it. And I'm so glad to say it. I'm getting emotional and overwhelmed by this because it's the truth. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Whew. And it's been a long time since I've been in front of people that don't do what I think they're gonna do, and I'm not always like, I knew I was gonna get this negative experience from these kind of folks. Girl, it was quite the opposite. And it was deep to see because we were one of the last peoples on the boat, and we were trying to find a place to sit, and some of us got separated and some of us went upstairs, and we were seeing these white couples, older and younger. The white couple that you saw giving the massage in the video were actually very cool people. Lovely. They were very lovely. They were like quite lovely people. Okay. Very lovely. They was making sure we had some water too. Yeah, she was lovely. There was this other couple too that I mean, they were rich. And they were just telling us their life story and everything too. It was wild. But then there was this other group of all women of color, Black women, brown and women in yellow. It was a very, very diverse group of women from New York City and other places. And it was interesting because we were trying to find a seat. And at first we were all like, all right, they're going to give us the business because we walked up here in our full punking them. And they were like, no, hold on, let's scoot down. Let's make some space for them and all that kind of stuff. Again, I have so much social anxiety from just the experiences of life and people really showing me their ugly colors. You even see it in my comment section with people sometimes coming at me and this, that, and the other in all sorts of kind of ways, trying to say it's something that it's really not. You know what I mean? And it's an understanding of like people are also very much walking around wanting to be combative. But what this taught me is that shit has rubbed off on me. And that's not cool. Because I was ready to go in for what? And the first thing that happened is, y'all come have this seat. Y'all are so handsome and giving. Come on, cute. The girl over there, you are eating in this cafeteria. Well, thank you. Come on, sister. And it was all of a sudden, my energy can't do nothing but reciprocate because that's what I really wanted. That's what happened. Became friends with those people in a blink of an eye. We're all telling our stories. What's your zodiacs? What this, that, and the other? Where are y'all from? What are y'all doing? What's this? We gonna be on the vlog? Lady, you need to get on TikTok. This one woman so you gotta get on TikTok. She's following the channel right now. Shout out to you. Like, you gotta get on TikTok. I am inspired. She's like, well, I'm always on there. That's definitely where the money is at. You're trying to get some more coins in your life so you can say that kind of shit. Telling us how they made their millions, sharing the wealth, if you will. That was wild to me, hearing these people not sit here and judge us because I am literally sitting here in a goddamn caftan of all kinds of multiple colors. That is what is underneath my caftan is some jean shorts and this, that, and the other. My friend's sitting over here, full tatas out here. We're authentically living our Black queer lives. And they were not intimidated. They were not, these people over here, this, that, and the other. None of that. And while we didn't meet the entire boat, everybody on the boat was respectful to each other. We were meeting all different kinds of people, even the straight couple from Dallas. Shout out to them. They were a key. That was this beautiful Black couple. And they were just so lovely. And then we met these other people across the board. We met this gay throuple with their child on this boat. And baby, when I tell you that kid is normal as hell. Like it wasn't odd to see, but it was interesting to be a part of that sort of like, oh, that's what this is. And also to hear a little bit of the story and see like, hey, like you see how we're living our lives. We're on vacation. We did this as a family. There's nothing, everything's fine. This is not that big of a deal. Like, you know what I mean? Just normal. Child was wonderful. Very, very much polite. Honestly, mind his business when everybody was partying and doing the most, sat over in some other corner of themselves and was just, minding their business. And there were other kids on the boat too that just were to themselves and this, that, and the other. And everybody respected each other's spaces. And when people needed help with things like, oh, we need help getting up, nobody was rude. It was wild. It was wild for me as a person who has experienced so many points of they're going to get you, they're going to do this, they're going to do all that. This jumping off the boat was such a release on my mommy's birthday, a day where I've always sat at home and cried my eyes out and had my moment because that was the worst day of my life. To be in this experience, regardless of what happens if I don't even pay my rent on the first here, because I'm dealing with the card situation. I'm trying to figure all this crap out and stuff like that. I honestly can take from this moment so much. I received so much good energy from this. I really do put my mom into that, like, in saying I feel her spirit was definitely guiding me through this day. I was also drunk as a skunk, to BH, because they kept bringing us drinks. This experience provided us breakfast, lunch, and snacks, unlimited drinks. And when I say unlimited drinks, honey, unlimited drinks. Whatever you wanted, they were going to bring it. That's what was happening. We were learning about new drink orders from people and their drinks. Like, it was that kind of level. I had definitely a double number of the amount of drinks. So not a singular digit. I most certainly did not. I most certainly had 10 or more. I'm afraid I was that drunk, but I was also a happy drunk in this moment because, again, the energy around us is not weird. So people are sloppy. There were no fights. Not one negative thing happened. There was not one moment of those people can't handle their, no, none of that happened. None of it. None of it. Everybody was so fucking helpful. It was so wild. And it was so great to see. I swear to you, I just kept getting got. Like, every time I thought something was that, nope, not going to happen. And so for me, why the water and this beach excursion and this being my mom's birthday is such a connection is because all of my memories with my mother have been through the beach and through the water. That have been our most specific tying moments of our lives that we've done on vacations, this, that, and the other. It has been always a thing. And so there is a moment I did have a breakdown when I was on this trip at this beach, not specifically because there was another location we went to, but it was when the entire group of the 75 people had left and we found a private portion of the beach. And I got to have my moment with my mom. And it was really a lot to take in. It was a lot. It was so, I'm getting emotional again, just thinking about the energy I felt in that moment, because it was a feeling I've never felt before in my life. And my friends were like, are you okay? Because they were all around me. And I was just like, it's not a moment of sadness. It's of happiness. It feels like I just released something and I needed to let it go. And it was so good. I have never felt that feeling before. I don't even know how to describe it. Because I can hear at that moment, it's if I could give an idea of what it was, I couldn't hear anything but the waves crashing for like a good 20 seconds. I swear to God. I could hear nothing, not one person's words. I couldn't hear a bird humming by, nothing but waves crashing for that beautiful amount of seconds. And it really hit. It hit. It did. And it felt like I finally can say, like, I'm good with my mommy passing away. And I'm also good with whatever decisions I make going forward in my life. And I'm good being the person that I've always meant to be. And if I want to be better, that is the journey. And to not just fucking hold yourself so hard to the ground, Matthew. And it just really was that. It was just to let shit go and not let anything bother you. People are going to say, hey, that's what they got. But you got you, baby. And that's it. And I just, Ooh. Like, I'm not sad with these tears right now. This is again the feeling, and it's starting to wash over again, because every time I look at some of these photos, I am taken to that moment. And what made this so special is my best friends were around me. The people who I care about the most were literally with me, and they helped me and received me in that journey. And it was just everything I needed. It really was. So I highly recommend, on those stressful moments of you thinking about a vacation or going somewhere you think is going to heal, please do. Because, like, I need everybody to have that. I need everyone to have that. Darnell literally picked me up from the airport. Darnell knows. Like, he knows before this trip and everything that's been coming up. Like, I have really been going through a lot of stuff. I also found out another friend of mine passed away while I was on my trip. My boy AJ, a pit crew member from like season 1 of Drag Race UK, passed away, and that was a friend of mine, and fucked me up coming back and seeing that. But I also thought about everything that just took place, especially at that beach with those who I lost, like Jiggly and Viv, my mom, like all my friends and all this kind of stuff like that. And I'm just sitting here going, like, I just hope whatever happens that those people are at peace. And I hate to think of the end being the end and dirt and that, but people actually going into that nirvana place, because why not? And so that to me is what that vacation was in that moment. It felt like nirvana in a sense. It felt like a beautiful heaven of relief being washed over. And that's why I want to make sure that at least once a year I take a trip like that, where I can just release any sort of negativity and any sort of like woes and stress in a place, and just like be for a moment, because we sometimes just forget. We really do just forget about life and just taking everything in and not taking things for granted. And so I just received all of this trip, and I was just so thankful that I got a chance to do it. And I want to work on making sure that I can afford that for myself, and also everything that comes with my life. I like literally started putting in motherfucking applications in as soon as I got back to the house. I kid you not. Woo! I was like, baby, I have an Indeed email I need to respond to now while we're being funny, because I was really like, oh, absolutely not. I have to do this again. I have this passport now. I have to travel the world. I have to see what God has to offer, and to the people who are a part of this actual planet that I'm on, and not just be stuck in a simple bubble that is the United States, which again, I am an American and proud to be, but not in certain situations that are currently happening right now. And to meet and see the people in Puerto Vallarta, and to them make us feel so comfortable. I have, baby, I've been gay many places, but that, honey, we're going back again. Me and my friends have already discussed it. It's going to be a must for us to go and visit at different times in the year, because something about it, baby. Everybody was free. Everybody was free. It was no drama, no mess, no stress. It was none of that. So, I absolutely am inspired. One thing I need TT is to get more batteries, because the one battery I was using for my camera, that was ridiculous. Who the hell am I? But yeah. Yeah, so yes, that is me, and that is I, and that is tequila, and that bottle was held up for quite some time, and that was not his first rodeo with my mouth in that bottle. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That may have been the 4th time that he did that, but yes, because he had to go get another bottle because he ran out. So yeah. This is also a part of the package for this tour excursion situation here. If you paid your money, you can get this too. Tell you that much, because as you can see, my friend over here got his pina colada, holding it down. I'm holding the camera, trying to make sure I get this shot, but I don't even know if the camera is focused on me, because this is happening right now as we speak. Also, these are two of the baddies that were with us that we met from that group. Shout out to them. Okay. Hey, friend. Me and her talked. thank you for that conversation. I don't know if you're watching this video because we just talked on Instagram, but like I really enjoyed getting to know you, honestly. Like, yeah, or like that hug at the end we gave, very church hug that we did with the side of yeah, this was my girl right here. I like her too. Like I didn't get to spend as much time with everybody, but me and her got to talk. So it was like, oh, okay, no, that's the Judy. All the rest of the girls, Judy Jutes too. We cool with all of them because they were great. Honestly, the whole group was a vibe. All the ladies were beautiful. They were a whole vibe. I just got to spend some more time with her and talk and get to know her. And I think her life is so fucking interesting. And she like lives in London, but she's by way of New York City and all that kind of shit. And she was like, if you're ever in London, New York, and mind you, I just said I'm trying to go to London at the end of the year. So I was like, it's that kind of shit. So yes. Yeah. So yeah, this trip was kind of wild. I'm definitely gonna share more of it. For those of you who know, I do a Munchkin group each and every weekend, which I'm supposed to be going to tomorrow, which I'm trying to make sure I can go because technically I'm still the reigning supreme and we haven't played in over a month since we were getting ready for the trip. But this is literally the people who I always see each and every weekend. This is why they're my core. The others in the group are also part of my friend circle too, who I love to death. But this is like the core. This is like the people I've known the longest out of everybody, which is Jeff, Troy, and Gerald. So I love them to death. This is one of my favorite photos that they took of us while we're trying to paddle the paddle board back to the boat because we all tried to get on it and it didn't work out. And we're all just kicking for dear life and shit and everything else. But yes, also when we were on this is when we got stung by the jellyfish, like back here. So when I jumped off the boat and I was swimming to this this raft board, as you can see, because we were all out here for this or whatever, I felt a sting on my leg. And it was wild because it felt like the sting scraped. Does that make sense? Like, you know how someone can hit you with a knife and then you sort of feel it drag if it was slow? But like, it felt like it was a stinging versus like a knife cut. Like as if I got stung, but the bee was doing it like this, like for a long period of time. It was the weirdest feeling I ever felt in my life. And so, for one, I'm mad because why are you going to drop us off over there? And there were jellyfish and not tell nobody, right? But I'm still mad about that. But we didn't know because, you know, no one's talking about it until, and I love one of the ladies brought up on the pad was like, hey, did anybody like feel something when you were walking? I said, hold up. I felt something sting me. And everyone's like, wait, I felt something too when we all jumped into the water. So when we got to this part, we left them on the pad, right? That's when they both told us, because when we saw them again, they were like, oh my God, you missed it. The jellyfish got on the pad with them. Like when they were on the pad and the water dipped down, a jellyfish right there in the center of it. So it was like, oh my God. Avoided all of that because we could have just been on the pad for it to just dunk on us and just lay on our legs. But like, yes, I can say I felt a little bit of the jellyfish sting, and I've never had that happen before in my entire life. And that sting was light because the fish, apparently it was like a little baby jellyfish, so it wasn't anything crazy. I'm assuming there was a bunch of them. However, and I still haven't looked at everything yet. I just know that there is footage on here on this camera because I dunked the camera under the water several times and just left it there for my camera was so fucking hot. I was like, why is it hot? I was so bad. I'm really hoping that it didn't get too foggy, but I definitely dunked this under the water a few times. Yeah, I did. And I had it in 4K. So I'm wondering if it caught any of the jellyfish. Wouldn't it be wild if there were sharks and shit? I'm very nervous to look at that because we were like, there is definitely something underneath us, and everyone was sort of freaking out. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Whenever we no, this can actually go 20 feet underwater without a case, and I had this case to go with it here that makes it go 80 feet. deep for like deep diving. So it's fine. It was fine regardless. It just got really hot because again, I was running it at 4K and 60 FPS. So that bitch was giving like the best of the best kind of quality at the time. And I wanted to make sure that whatever was in the water was clear to see. But yeah, so I am going to be excited at what is unveiled because I know it wasn't just a jellyfish that sort of like hit my leg. I did feel something else too at one point in time. And I was like, bitch, either that was just some fish trying to see what the fuck was up or it was something else trying to check it out. But I am a little bit nervous because I do have a little bit of a thalassophobia. I don't have like a full, like, I'm not going to lose my grip on reality if I get in the water. But if I overthink, if I start to get upstairs and you know how you start to just, the mind starts to go and I look somewhere and I think I see something, oh, panic. Because I've been scuba diving before and I've definitely been in a situation that scared the fuck out of me. So that's why I'm like, I just don't want to see it because I've never been to that part of the ocean over there, specifically by Mexico, where I know sharks definitely exist. I watched way too many animal documentaries to like mess that up. But yeah, this day was great. Honestly, like you see something like this outside, welcome all sizes, all colors, all cultures, all genders, all religions, all beliefs, all ages, types, all people. Love lives here. I wanted so badly to take this sign and just take it home. Because like that was the trip. It was nobody here is excluded. Ain't nobody acting funny. If somebody acts like that, like the people would really like get in. You know what I mean? Like if there was any sort of like weirdness, it's like, okay, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, bitch, you know where you were at? Like, you leave all that mess over where you came from, honey. Where everybody here to have a good time. The people who are here to work are here to make their money, okay? And the people here to have a vacation are here to have a good time, bitch. We're not here for the drama. And that's literally what that entire boat was meeting so many different people, different backgrounds, different political views and beliefs, but not on a level of, well, why did you make that decision and why didn't you? It was more of a, well, here's where I'm coming from. Okay. And then, well, here's why I did what I did. Okay. Well, I get that. And we don't need to debate it, but we should have some sort of respect for each other at the time because everybody's just trying to have a good fucking day. And it was a lot of that. It was very interesting. Now, to let you know how inebriated I was, there's the split. There is me falling after said split. I cannot get back up after the split. I had to be helped up at this point in time because it was a wrap for Matthew. It was a wrap. I was done. I help. I was done. I was done. Done. I don't even know if this is when I messed my knee up. I think my knee was already messed up at this point, but like it is what it is. But let us talk about the drag race portion of this trip because I actually saw somebody from the show every day. Not one day did I not see somebody from Drag Race. That is the geek. That is the gag. That is the goop, and that is the giggle. First day, I saw Jaida. This isn't even the first day. This isn't the first day. This is, where is it? This is not the first day. No, this is not the first day. I'm afraid it's not. This is actually day 3. I saw her the first day just outside, like, because bitch, the streets were popping right outside Industry and some other clubs. It was popping. And so we were just walking and shit. And out of nowhere, I just left Blondie's, got me a cute little $6 pink Blondie. That was a beautiful strawberry puree vodka mixed drink. Honestly, one of the best I've had. If you want to like, if you don't have pesos and you're like, I just want to use my card, which I use my PayPal for that one, but it was $6 in USD for like a really cute drink. I was like, okay, we can do this. So I was walking with my little Blondies and I was going through the crowd, showing a little body, had my little Daisy Dukes on, the little pink tank top, and I was giving a little what. And I see Jaida. And I'm like, Miss Thing. And she's like, bitch, what are you doing out here? And it was, it was like, oh my I saw her outside. And so she was like, well, I'm out here for the fun, girl, bitch, you know, all that kind of good stuff. Like I'm not on tour right now. And also she's like, I'm not doing the Vegas live right now. So I think she was like she's on vacation before she has to go back. So she was like, I'm just out here having some fun. I was like, oh, bitch, well, I'm out here on vacation. She goes, how long you out here till? Bitch, I'm out here till Tuesday. Bitch, I'm out here till Sunday. I was like, ew. So we exchanged phone numbers. And I was like, I'm gonna see you when I see you, because she was with her group and I was with mine, and we just got there. She had, I think they just left the club that they were in. And so I saw her again later. And this is this day. So, okay. All right. So Maddie went to a male strip club. I am not posting the pictures because I just looked at all of them and there's a little something, something in each and every one. So I will be posting a video portion of it later, the one that I can post, but I can't post the video here because it was a little too much in the memory. But I went to my first male strip club. It's called 69. That is the name of the club. It was like $100, 100 peso cover or something. Yeah, it was 100 pesos for the cover. And so you go in, and it was packed. Like, it was packed. It was packed, girl. Everybody. I was like, oh, a lot of people are up in here. I saw some other girls who are YouTube famous that were in there. I saw some TikTok famous girl. There was a lot of people. There were drag race people. Everybody was in that strip club now. So ain't nobody was on that shame shit, which I'm not shaming nobody, because baby, I was there for that was my first rodeo. I was like, oh my God. And I'm going to tell you about that rodeo, because I was treated like a princess, high key. I'm not even going to lie to you. I didn't have to tip for half of it. Like, I had some folks that were coming to check on me. Okay, listen, let me. Okay, so let's talk about it. So when we get in there, we had one of our friends who was taller lead, because I also sometimes don't like to lead a little bit, because I can get like this. I'm like, I don't want to move through people. And so my friend was leading. And so I guess the guy saw him and was like, oh, let's get him to the VIP. It could have been like, oh, he's an American. This will work. Da, 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 they pay better, whatever the case. But they got us to the VIP area upstairs. So we're upstairs over there in the VIP. Now there's another little section that's downstairs, like a section area. I look down, and who is it? It's Jaida and it's Mirage. Oh, did I not tell you I saw Mirage that same day prior to us going into this bitch, when we were trying to go into industry, and I was outside. I was like, does that look like Mirage? And my friend was like, is that Mirage? And I'm like, oh, I have to go speak. So I went up to her and I was like, Mirage. And she's like, yes. And it was like, all right, bitch. And so like I gave her a big hug and I was like, girl, I live for you, down. Da, 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 da. I gave her all the coots, y'all. Such a sweetheart. She had her pigtails, very signature, with the bandana and all that kind of jazz. All of the bit, very, very cutesy ootsy, and just such a sweetheart and all that kind of stuff. And I was giving her coots, and she was just very adorable, like very, very sweetheart and all that jazz. And she was having a good time too. I didn't want to like take up her time, but it was just really funny that I saw her again same night at the strip club, and then Jaida was with her, because they came in separate groups and they got together or whatever. So it was like, oh, so I'm upstairs, they're downstairs. That's just the setting for like, what is the situation, okay? They were putting on shows. This wasn't just some strip club where it was like, okay, up to the front, here come bullet shots, or whatever the case may be, or up next is nobody, la, 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 la. These babies were doing production number. They were doing full on Magic Mike energy, if you will. Like, it was giving very that. The guy who did Lady Gaga did a whole fallen angel from the fucking pole, literally did the full fallen angel, darkness took over, abracadabra, the full bit. I never thought I'd see someone doing pole work to abracadabra, but I have seen it now. I have seen it. Okay? Now, they had strippers then going around and, of course, working the room and looking for tips for them being on stage, or possibly just like trying to get a little whatever. So there is one of them who you will see in the video that I'm going to be posting, who was, I have changed my position on short kings. I'm going to tell you that. I have changed my position on short kings. Little did I know. So like this man come over here and straight up in my ear, I was looking at you from down over there, and I was like, "You just trying to get a little tippy poo from me?" And he was like, "No, I can see what you giving. I don't want a tip from you." I said, "Excuse me," and just said, "Let me put my hand real quick over here, da 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 da," or whatever. He said, "Oof," because I had my cut off. This is what I was wearing in the strip club, by the way. So I was like, "No, I'm gonna tip you because that's not right." And he was like, "You don't have to." I was like, "No, I'm gonna tip you." And I gave him like, I gave him like 100 pesos. So he was like, "Thank you," da 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 da. Da. But he was like, "What are you doing after this?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know yet. We don't have our plans right." He goes, "I'm gonna see you when I walk out that door." I was like, "Oh." That was the uno. That's not even the dose. Let me tell you about the dose. The dose one is funny. Cause baby, because when we were in there, because mind you, he gave real trade. Like he looked like he robbed shit. Like I was like, oh, this motherfucker like robbed stuff. Like he gave me like I'm gonna leave you with a baby and fuck all your credit up. Like that's what he was giving. But the other one, he was the only. I think he was from Haiti or like he had to be from Haiti. Ooh, the Haitian man had to be. This man rolled up on me. And I gave him like some bullshit tip just because he was cute. And I was like, that was what that was about, right? Y'all don't even know. I gave him this little tippy poo, and he was like, thank you. But that's not why I came up here. I said, why do you come up here? He said, "I come up here." He said, me and my friend were talking about you down there. I said, what? This motherfucker lifted me up. I kid you not. Lifted me up. I listen. There was no room for ground clearance. I was in the air. Now, here's how I'm going to tell you about a little bit of the outside of this show, who I be if I really want to get down for the get down. Because if you was ever my man, you about to be let the halves. Okay, here we go. I put, because a former gymnast and a double jointed bitch I am, true T, real facts. I put that right leg up like this, boom. That I'm talking about, this whole leg, yow. Set him off. He went, oh, he said, oh yeah. I said, yes, like that. Threw me over the couch that was upstairs in the back, baby. It proceeded to like do the whole, not mind you, didn't just, he didn't pull my pants down, nothing like that, but like, how the strippers do or whatever, and gave me a little pow pow in the back for quite some time. Mind you, I didn't give him no tip like that. He just wanted to do it. And that was the tea. Was I just wanted to see what it's given. And he said, and I quote, as we got back up, I knew it was going to bounce back on me. And I said, and it always does. But he go, with your fine fucking ass. I said, as you are. Because I was speechless. I don't know what to tell the man. Like, yes, you are too. He gave me a kiss on the neck and walked away and said, thank you. Oh, and my friends were gagged. They said, Matthew. I said, my friend said, now look, he said, my friend had to dap me up talking about, I saw that leg, friend. I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. A bitch ain't never going to pick me up and I'm not going to perform, motherfucker. I'll tell you that right now. Oh, that strip club don't owe me nothing, honey. Nothing. The man came up and checked on me several times. You good? Ain't nobody got you no drink? All that kind of stuff. Cute. The other one came back out. You leaving yet? I'm about to be walking out the door. Oh, we ain't left yet. Okay, let me see you outside. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I was this outfit, the girls who were trying to say, Maddie don't look too well, Miss Thing, they were trying to pull my ass. Very healthy. Very much that girl. Man, you giving up come on with the abs. Oh, the top look real cute on you. You giving them mm-hmm. You can never tell me shit. All right? And I don't say that just to throw it up in the face. I'm just being real with you. I may have found a little bit more God on this trip too, but I also definitely got my groove back when I walked into the room. I have felt never this confident in my body in my entire life. So I want to thank the Lord high above, but also because this workout that I've been doing, it did feel like it was coming into full fruition. Either way, yes, that's how we got to this moment with Jaida. I'm so serious. All of that I just said, that's how I got to this moment with Jaida. All of that applies. Because once all that was done and we were leaving, tabs were paid, drinks were done, all that kind of good stuff. I'm tipsy boots coming out the club. I see Jaida and I see Mirage. Mirage is bouncing. She's out the door. She's like, I'm going back to the villa, whatever. And then Jaida was like, bitch, what you doing? I'm like, what you doing? She's like, let's go to karaoke. I said, oh, let's go to karaoke. My other group didn't want to go because they were like, we're tired and we're hungry, so we're going to go get some food. Y'all have fun. So me, Jeff, and Troy went with Jaida across the way to go to karaoke. And that we did. And do I have video of this? Oh, yes, I do. Did I include it in this video? No, because I have to post it later when I edit it down. Because Jaida was everything. As was I, because my ass is so drunk I can't even do the song right. So I'm singing like, oh no, my throat. I can't. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, become part of this Rampack family. If you want to drop me a little bit of love in my tippy poo jar, please and thank you. It really would be so very helpful. PayPal.me/MattyRants, Cash App $Matt924 or $MattyRants, and Venmo Matty-Rants. Thank you so much. We did karaoke until the bar closed. I got to meet some cool people that were there. This one guy who was a great singer, but when he was done singing, he was like, and that guy tried to hit me. I was like, girl, what? Like, we missed the whole fight, child. I was like, what's happening? Oh, it was I Get So Weak in the Knees. That was the song. Can't explain why your love it takes me. Yeah, that was me. Because I was so drunk. That was the song. And then the other girl's name was Leilani. Shout out to Leilani, because I saw both him and Leilani later for another Drag Race encounter that was absolutely fucking random. Okay, so check this out. We finished the karaoke. We're like looking for something else to do. They want to go to Pancho's Tacos. I regret not going because my group was already at another taco truck and we didn't want to like miss the group because we were all going back in the same Uber. That was the rule. That was the rule of the night. But then me and Jaida had this really, really like long conversation. She did tell me something about Drag Race stuff, but I think it's like common knowledge, and I don't want to say what it is. But she told me so. She told me a little something, and it wasn't even like I asked. It was just sort of like prompted because we were making fun of the karaoke thing, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and then when this happens, I was like, "What?" So I had to like keep that into the bullet chest. My friends were with me too. They were like, "Oh my god, were we just here for that tea?" I said, "You don't tell nobody." I dead ass turned around and said, "You don't tell a fucking soul. You hear me? This is how we don't do that shit. That's how people do. Oh, you don't be that girl." Okay. But Jaida, I know you retweeted me and all that good stuff after the pictures I posted and everything, but like you said some things that really made me emotional later on. And I was really thankful to spend some time outside of DragCon because we talked about it. And she's probably watching this video, by the way, because she does. But we talked about it. We were like, we have to hang out outside of this because like it's so much more than like the show and me being a fan of your drag and T. Like I just like Jaida as a person. And so for us to get to like hang out, we saw each other one night, we didn't see each other the next night. It's like, oh no, bitch, we're doing something now. And she really gave love to y'all, the Rant Pack. She's like, I live for your community. I love all of them. They are so wonderful. Okay, Matthew. And I love that they like care about you and give a fuck about you too. Cause like, bitch. And she mentioned just so many things and talked about how I've always kept it 100. I never fully was just licking the boot in terms of if I didn't like something, I didn't like something. And if I was like, you need to get up, you need to get up, it was very 100 like that, but also still making sure to support. She noticed me when I went to the Shea Coulee show and I supported her there as well as doing all that. She was like, I've always been aware. And when you're always showing that support, and that's always been real for me. And I thank you for that. And I was just like, well, thank you for being the fucking person who you are, bitch. Because again, I'm as much as a fan as I am of the girls on the show, I love seeing them outside of Drag Race and meeting them as humans and on that kind of connection level. Like people like Bitch Puddin', shout out to Steven, but like that's another person who I give all the fucks about, who has allowed me into their home and their space, you know what I mean? And like I can bring in the House of Avalon with Simone and Gigi into that, and people think I'm flexing. It is so not even that. It's just y'all don't know, like building relationships with folks is beautiful. And I hate when I do mess up with relationships with people, because there are times where, yes, I was the person who was the problem and they didn't deserve that from me. And I have to grow from that and I have to learn. But other people have given me more grace. And there are other people who have, also haven't seen those sides or have and understand, but also let me know, listen, we got to do better. And I take that note and we push on and we move forward with it. But like people like Jaida, who I respect for what they do, inspire me. And for her to say even that I'm a little bit of, like, bitch, your working out's got me wanting to work out, bitch, your body is killing it, you're also just killing the game, I just love your spirit and we are friends, girl. And I was like, it was lovely to hear, because she's just an awesome human being. So honestly, if you ever see Jaida Essence Hall out and about, give that girl $1 while she is working her ass off, because she do put everything into her drag. But just as a person and a human being, getting to hang outside the glam and all that, just fucking lovely. Just a fun time. Goofy as hell. Yes, you are, sister. Goof troop. Do you understand? I thought I was silly. The Jaida is silly. I think she kills my silly meter. Like, no, I actually no, because we were bouncing off of each other. We were just cacking each other the whole night. We were just making each other laugh. That's what me and Jaida did the entire night. Just make each other laugh. That's all it was. Like, she gonna try to make me laugh. I'm making her laugh harder. She's gonna try to make me laugh harder. That's like a cousin. I can put Jaida in the category of like, that's my cousin. In reality, like we down for the get down. So it was just lovely spending time with her. And again, I say, if you ever get a chance to meet these dolls and not make it about Drag Race, you really get to see some cool ass fucking people. And you also are reminded that everybody is somebody outside of this. This is why I love me some Tia Coffee. That's my friend outside of Drag Race, and all the rest of the girls like Queen Kong and all of them, all that kind of other stuff. Those are my people outside the show. Like I met them through the show, but like I try to get to know them past that point, and I wasn't on a level of like, I'm gonna go to Reddit and do no. That's not how that works. No. I want to see them win for real. I'm not here to win through them. No. I just want to see them win. And I just so happen to be a little bit of that journey, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But shout out to Jaida. Again, friend, thank you for spending some time with me. And also my friends too, they didn't get to go to DragCon. And we did talk about DragCon. Jay didn't spill anything about DragCon. I think they're all, if I'm going to surmise a little bit of how we had the conversation, they, like us, are also trying to figure out what's going on. And is it going to be, hey, they might just tell us like 2 months before it starts, if that even happens, but we just don't know. So I don't know what's going on with DragCon, but my friends getting to meet Jaida was a big moment for them because they love Jaida Essence Hall from the show. They were rooting for her to win, you know what I mean? So they got their meet and greet, like a light one, and also got to do karaoke with her. So they got to spend some time, see Jaida outside the show. They had so much fun. But like, that reminded me why DragCon is really important. In that wild, I was like, see, like some people don't get the opportunity to see these folks, and they need to go through that sort of venue. While they do have to support the dolls in order to get the picture, you get to see your favorite. You get to be like, yay, and then it's a moment, and you get to share something with them if they have the time, and you get that reciprocation back. So yeah, like I sat on that bed with that girl, and I said, we gonna hang out outside of this, don't worry. And here we are. So yes, and it just that made the Puerto Vallarta trip so cool for me, was to get this moment too. I had my friends that I knew through the group that we're doing with the trip, and then I get to see Jaida, and then we get to spend time on said trip. And then right after this, because all of that happened, I see Alexis Mateo. The following, not that same, no, because this was like night 3 or night 2 going into 3. Yeah. The last night I'm there, y'all, out of no fucking where, and I mean this with everything, nowhere, I saw a girl every day. I am walking down the Malacon. I'm in the like sandy area. I'm passing up the, I think it's the Mantamar, which is like this gay beach resort sort of situation. This, I forget what the name of it is, but it's like blue or whatever. It's a giant unicorn that was out there. They're doing beach parties like all weekend. And I see Leilani and oh boy, and I was like, oh my God, I remember them when I saw Jaida. So I was like, hey, it's good to see you. And I was with Jeff and Troy and Darian, and we were all like, oh my God, it was so good to see them again. And we were like, oh, we're leaving tomorrow. And you know, Leilani's like, how was your trip? And da, da, da. I was like, girl, I'm coming back for sure. Because she told me about how she's there often and how that's the beauty of Puerto Vallarta as being queer and this, that, and the other. It's like you can come here, you can work, you can also like feel free and just have something to yourself. It's wonderful. And I was like, I live. But then I noticed someone with them. And I'm like, now, bitch, I said, I know. And I said, you know me, y'all. I said, I know who this is. She goes, and oh, Alexis Mateo, you will always be a legend to me for you, the way you just answered my question. For me, in my country bump, I know who this is. She goes, did you see me on TV? I'm talking about gagged. I had to give a shout. Like that girl, I hollered and we went right into a hug. That's how that was. I'm so sorry. I said, I know who that is. She said, oh, because you see me on TV? This laugh that I'm giving with a hug right after that, baby, that was too much. I said, oh my God. I said, see, I knew you was going to give me what I need. She says, I know that's right. And I just told her, I, again, gave the coots and all that kind of stuff. It was like, girl, you know, live and breathe. I've been watching you since the beginning. So proud of Texas, I do reviews and stuff. And then it's just like, okay, work. And then I mentioned, I was like, but I'm going to let you go because I know y'all were walking. And I said, I'm still a bit pissed. And I know you get this all the time. And it's such a thing. But I was like, girl, I'm still mad at how they did you for All Stars. She goes, thank you. And I appreciate that. But let me tell you, they paid me very well. Another scream, another hug to end it. She kissed, waved goodbye. She said, love you, baby. Thank you. And that was it for me. And I said, now that is a quick little 1-2. And Alexis Mateo, I will forever hold that moment to my heart because that cacked me. I said, oh my God, every answer was perfect. But they paid me very well. I said, oh, I thank you. Oh my goodness. There was a lot of flyers for Tina Burner. That Puerto Vallarta residency, I saw Tina's flyers all over the place. I saw Tynomi Banks's flyers all over the place. I saw so many of the Drag Race girls that have like sort of like these certain dates that they tour out there, and they have these club performance and residencies that I thought was really cool. Now, Vanessa Vanjie Mateo did perform at Puerto Vallarta for Pride. We did miss it though, because by the time she finished performing, we were just getting out and about. That's why Alexis was there. I was like, oh, okay, work. So I just so happened to see her off at that moment. If Vanjie had been outside of that, that would have been also like a cack to see her too, but I was gagged. Now, a controversial queen, I can confirm I did see walking the streets of Puerto Vallarta. And I was literally at the Republic restaurant eating my food. And I'm talking about gagged and gooped me with seeing Shangela walking. That I did see. I said, DJ? I'm talking about the way I clocked her from the corner of my eye. And then when my friend said, is that Shangela? I said, let's all pay attention without paying attention. That was me. Very don't stare, but just let's see if we're all correct in what's happening here. And what was interesting is she was walking with the guy who was the choreographer on We're Here, the bald-headed black dude. I said, oh. And that's how I knew it was her, because I was like, oh, wait, that's whoop. So yeah, I said, oh. Now, that was all of the occasion and persuasion. I did not run up and go say hello, and I wasn't trying to do that because she was on her way clearly to somewhere. But like, it gagged me a bit. I don't know why it did. And like, again, you're on vacation, have fun too. But that it was because I would have. It's wild because for me, I wouldn't have stopped my dinner to go run up and say hi to. I'm not like that girl because I'm like, I'm eating, child. They're gonna drag me while I'm walking. If I catch you while I'm walking, that's different. But we were at the dinner table. I just thought it was like, what? And it told me everybody is out here. That's all that said. I said, okay, everybody out here. Everybody out here. Baby, why we go into the pharmacy out here and these girls talking about they have testosterone over the counter. Excuse me? Oxycillin over the, I said, what? Talking about we have a 2-for-1 spec. I said, what? Adderall over the counter. What? Yes, over the counter. Adderall. I was like, what? You can't take it back with you. But I thought to myself, oh, so that's how the girls get penicillin over the counter. I was like, oh, so that's what's happening. They come over. I said, oh, okay. I said, oh, this now all makes a whole lot of sense. Why some of the girls be dipping out and be gone for a couple of weeks or whatever, do their little routine and their little get backs, and then come back in the States like nothing happened. Okay. It gagged me going into the store and them just like showing it up and her like explaining the prices too. Like the pricing was like ridiculously low as well. I thought to myself, oh, that's how these girls are getting better and coming back and still reading. That's what's happening here. I got it. It's wild. And it's also really sad too because of how things are working in the United States when it comes to like getting stuff like that for people, isn't it? I thought that it made me a little bit sad. Just a little bit. Oh yeah, no record. Just go out there and just do whatever. But this is like a view from the yacht that I had. But to wrap this up a little bit, because you know, I do want to show the full edited video of all the stuff that's going to happen and do my little voiceover work, which will be coming out soon. I just wanted to sort of go over just some highlights from said trip. Yeah, my favorite trip that I've ever been on in my life. I had the best time with my friends and new friends that I created through this trip, which was so amazing. Oh, the beef, that dude Crash, he was actually really nice. He was very nice. He was cool too. Like he was hanging out with us for a second. At one point we got on the yacht and we had like a little dance party. And like I completely like, you know, was doing the most with that happening. I was in a caftan and I had my fanny pack on. I was out there like just like crisscross will make it. They were playing all the hits. We had a ball. And I learned so much through this trip. I learn one thing, to not prejudge people, to also not go into experiences expecting the worst, to give people an opportunity, a chance. And that even though with me being, say, a Black queer man, that I can also be someone who is very judgy and very, prejudging people as well. And I can come off combative at times, and that I don't need to do that. I can let my guard down and I can just enjoy the moment and allow people to show me who they are. And if you don't like it, you can just move away, but not to automatically go in like that, because that can also bring people to pull up their shells. And then you're getting that version, not the real version of them. Because that was a lot of what that boat ride was about. I'm having conversations with people who I thought were actually about to be very nasty, snarky, and the woodies that no, it was not even that. It was so fucking cool. And even the people that we met through the trip as well, they were so nice, and all the different like bits of the culture. We learned so much about Puerto Vallarta. I did get to take pictures of the sign, the food, tasting so much of the culture, getting to see new Puerto Vallarta and old Puerto Vallarta, and also people who live out there that we were talking to that were telling us why they don't want the gentrification to happen and why they want to keep things the way they are, but how the other folks that live there want to have it because of tourism and how important it is to the economy, and how a lot of people do not like a certain president that we have that live out there. It's a lot. It was such a grand old time. Oh, and I got my first passport stamp. Nobody got a stamp but me. When I went through immigration and I put my passport down, they said I had to go see the guy. I was like, oh my God. And they ended up just giving me a stamp. Everyone else got like a little piece of paper. And I was like, that's my first stamp for my first international trip ever. And it was amazing. So for the books, yes, that was my favorite trip I've ever done. And I highly recommend Puerto Vallarta, especially if you're queer. And I would even suggest going during Pride because, oh my God, it was a wild ride. The parties, everything, all stuff was accessible to you. I also would recommend if you're straight, if you're bi or you're a lesbian or whatever, I'm going to tell you, like, everybody listen to me, everybody was out there. It did not matter what your persuasion was. People were really having a fun time and enjoying everything about it, and no one was like, well, why aren't you this and why aren't you that? That wasn't happening. We did have one moment of a little bit of racism, but that came from some white gays talking about when they passed up my friend who was darker complexion. One guy goes, I like chocolate, and then one goes, ugh, disgusting, and it was like in reference for his skin tone. That was gross. And then this what other like really pudgy dude came over to us at one like location, and he tried to like make a joke and flirt with my friend, and then he was like, y'all my niggas, and it was like, what? I didn't say it in the wrong way. Oh man, you were a little too drunk and got a little too friendly, and that wasn't cute. But when I say from the locals out there, my Mexican brothers and sisters, and the Latinas Latinos that were out there, didn't have none of that bullshit go down. And all the other white gays and white people that we met out there, that didn't happen. But those two little incidents, that was that. And they were what they were. We were rolling in a big group. Ain't nobody needed to go off and be like, girl, you wrong. We just left people where they were when that happened. Does that make sense? It was like, I'm not about to turn around and be like, bitch, what's up? We're on vacation. You wanted to throw that little nasty little jab. Something going to happen to you later. That's karma. Let her go. Let's enjoy our trip. And the same thing happened to the little Pixar-shaped dude. Very that. Those were the only two things that happened. And I have people in my group. Those weren't just Matty readings. Everyone heard it too. But like, I would recommend as a white person not going up to a black man and being like, you look like this one rap guy, because some black men are going to be like really like on that tip because they know what they're working with. But like, not everybody's here for that kind of shit. It's like, what do you mean? What rap guy? He couldn't even tell us who it was, which I knew he didn't even have a person. He just did that so he could just touch my friend. And that's what that was. And my friend clocked it, even though his boyfriend was sitting right there. And it was like, okay, we about to just let this happen. It was just like, I'm not going to do for all this bullshit. I just wasn't entertaining it. Because y'all know how hot-headed I get about that. So I had to like walk away. I was like, I'm going to walk away. I'm not fighting some older man who clearly was just trying to see what it was. I'm sure he's had his fetishes like satisfied while he's been out here, because the massage parlors were popping. The bathhouses were popping out there, Miss Thig. The massage parlors in general. Girl, I'll tell you what. DW, thank you so much for this super sticker. Appreciate you, babes. Crash, I don't know if I highlighted this, and that is coming from a little that part. Thank you, Crash. But I'm not that person. I don't think I ever will be. I'm not shaming nobody that doesn't. I totally get it. Trust. In another universe, I'd have been the guy that would have went in the massage parlor, because the men that were out, what? I was like, oh, I get it. I was like, oh my God, fine. I was like, oh, okay, I totally get it. I can't do that, but for the ones that went in, I was like, oh, the joy is yours. Same thing with the bathhouse. I was like, bitch, they had people just standing outside letting you know, like, what's going on. I was like, oh my. Oh, if I was not a Christian, was this I'd be up in here. But yeah, Puerto had something for everybody. I'm gonna tell you that. They had something for everybody. Everybody. They had like family resorts there too. We saw a couple of them. They looked really, really fun. They honestly looked really gorgeous. One that was like in the middle of everything that I thought was so cool. Lots of places where you can just eat on the beach. Oh, and you get the ocean view and everything. Y'all, that is such a sight to take in, especially like nighttime ocean views. Oh my God, it was so wonderful. Yeah, and the food experience was great. I got to try some things I've never had before, and I did not have pork while I was out there, so I can still say that. I didn't have any shrimp either. That's a lie. That's a lie. I had coconut shrimp. I did not like it. I didn't like it. I was like, ugh. I didn't like it. I was like, that shit was not it for me. I was like, oh God. I definitely prayed over myself because I was like, okay, I was so wrong for eating this. This is shellfish. Wrong, 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 wrong. I did not like how that tasted. I like the calamari though. That's not a scavenger per se, but that was also one of my first times having it. I've had like Olive Garden calamari, which is not to me like actual calamari in a sense. I've had it like back in, when I was a kid and we got like those opportunities. Oh, look at my arm. Uh, anywho. But when we got to this restaurant called Blue Shrimp, my friend Darian was like, oh, I'm going to get this calamari. You're going to like help me finish it. And I was like, okay, bet. Because we were all hungry. And that shit was fucking good. That was great. I just don't like the tartar sauce. Lemon, squeezing a lemon on it. Miss Thang. Yes. Yes. I'll order it again. And it was big too. Like they didn't give us like these little small little string. Nah, baby, it was a big old chunk of like calamari that was in there, and it was fried perfectly. I was living, but yeah, a little squeeze of that lemon on there. I thought, wow, now this. Okay, well that must have been what it is. It was marinara then, but it didn't taste like tartar. I mean, no, excuse me. It didn't taste like marinara. There we go. It tasted like something else. It was really sweet for a marinara sauce. I didn't like it. I know my marinara, and I know it with a cheese stick. So me dipping whatever it was, I was like, girl, what is this? It was really, really sweet. I said, oh, no, ma'am. No, sister. No, no. No, no. I needed something a little harder. I needed acidity. I needed a little acidity. Oh my goodness gracious. But as you can see, I did get a little tan while I was out there. I know that it'll soon disappear since I don't go outside enough out here, but unfortunately the peeling has already started as well, which is driving me nuts. And I did get to shampoo my, cornrows here yesterday because I had to get some holding spray. I didn't want to have to purchase any, but I really, really needed to like shampoo my hair because I had got all that seawater in there, and I just felt like it carried over with me here, and I was like, no way. And I watched a YouTube tutorial on how to do it, so my scalp feels so much better. But I'm also like, yeah, these braids are gonna get another maybe 2 weeks, maybe less than that out of this. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be doing these hairstyles every 3 weeks and then a break. Yeah, because I'm having a good time, but every now and then I have to bang the top of my head like a drum. Do you hear me? Oh my goodness gracious, losing my mind. Ooh, but they're still holding up for what it's worth over here. This back part right now did not too much care for the wash or whatever. Oh no, it's a tan, Shay. high key with the burn. But oh, it's a tan. It's a tan. We saw the pictures. She's a tan. That we're not gonna argue over. Trust, I'm a whole nother color. But yes, the peeling up here definitely is from the burn from the first portion of the day. Because whenever I first got there, we forgot all right here, and that was not fun at all. And then we had our farmer's little issue, which is tan, but again, we were burned first. I would like to emphasize that we were burned here for. You're going to see it in some of the pictures. There was burned first, but then we basically worked our way into the color. I felt like Linda Belcher in that one episode when she's like, you got to burn first to get the color. I was like, yeah, that's basically what happened to portions of me. Like at one point when I was out there, like half of me was tan and the other half was like sunburnt. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. So I definitely use the fuck out of all of my sunscreen, like all of it, like all of it. And I did 70 proof. And somehow I still came out with a little tan. Like I did 70 proof. And then I had stuff for the face too. But the stuff I had for the face is like 35. So I would probably need to get one that's a little bit heavier for the face next time. Oh, well, yeah, of course. I'm always subject to that. I mean, look at me. I'm literally glass skin, like, period. So I knew it was going to happen for sure. On top of it, I definitely know this got burned at one point in time, honey. She was sizzling for one little bit. But no, she's fine. All this is good. There's no flaking up here. But yeah. I'm fine. It's gonna be okay, everybody. We put some moisturizer. You wouldn't even know I was flaking up here because what? I moisturized it this morning. But no. The trip was wonderful. We got a good tan. We got into the water. We got a little bit of the ocean. I unfortunately got to swallow the ocean at one point in time, which was absolutely disgusting. I'm very glad that I didn't have any stomach issues afterwards. Never once did I, what's the word? Drink any of the tap water, but like they said the place was like filtered. I don't know. We were weird about the water when it came out there because everybody was concerned. They didn't want to get sick, but we didn't have any issues with that. I would say we had issues with pesos. We got a couple of times with the tips. We over tipped several times. I was definitely, my money was also taken at one point in time. I think I dropped like 500 pesos and someone yanked that bitch right up because I was missing money out of my bag at one point in time and it really pissed me off. On top of my debit card getting compromised, which we're still trying to figure out. They haven't told me if it was at an ATM or if it was in a store. I think it was at an ATM because we were trying to pull money at one point in time and I was in a rush and I did not check the ATM. So I'm a little bit annoyed by that and my card is locked up. We are definitely very much scared for rent this month, but I'm trying to keep I'm in a good mood. I'm just like, all right, Matt, we're just trying to keep the mood. We had a great time. We just had those little moments happen. But overall, it was an awesome trip. And again, I recommend it. Get out the country. If you got a passport, get out, find good deals, get a travel agent too, because they can work out really great specials for flights. We had a friend who is a travel agent that worked out our tickets for us and got these really cute round trip tickets for $400. That was very well. Yes, they were good tickets too. And then of course, I went with a group, so it actually helped out with paying for the Airbnb that we used, but there were also some resorts out there that had like nights that were actually very, very decently priced, especially for the 3-day weekend. If you wanted to do that, there were a lot of options in Puerto Vallarta. It was that very, very that. So I will definitely have an edited video. Oh, I flew United. I prefer them. Delta is fine too, but Delta is a little overrated in my personal opinion. But I've also like flown with United since it was called Continental, so it's kind of nostalgic for me flying with them. I don't want to say that I don't fly Spirit, but I don't fly it anymore. I've done flights with them. I don't like them. Nor Frontier. They're the only two airlines outside of Southwest that I've dealt with that have really fucked me over badly in flight situations, refund situations, attitudes, and all that. Never will I ever. And then I used to do Southwest, but the new bag thing, buy, chop, boom, can't do it. Really, Isis, I never have issues with United when it comes to my bags, but Southwest doesn't do the free bag thing no more, so they can burn in hell. uh, and also, what I don't like about you, Southwest, is that what do you mean it's first come, first serve? So if I don't check in quick enough, then I'm not going to be able to get a cute ass seat. Oh no, bitch, you will not have me in no middle. Chop, chop. But yes, I fly mostly United, Delta. JetBlue is something. JetBlue is a little something, something. I'm starting to enjoy some of their things, but I really want to try like Qatar Airways because I have seen those seats and it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what? Like, we're gonna be in that what? Luxury what? Like, it'd be nice. I've done first class maybe twice in my life, and those were one for a short flight. The other time it was a trip from Hawaii, and I was a kid, so it doesn't count as an adult. We got really lucky because the flight was empty. No, we were traveling during the Christmas time, which I've learned was a good time to like travel to Hawaii when we were younger. And we were traveling back home, and there was like no one on the flight, so they just let us. They were like, "Hey, do y'all want to be in first class?" I'll never forget. I'm like, "What? Bitch! Oh my god! Oh, the food! Oh, I remember. I was like 13. Yeah, 13, baby. They gave me this Sunday that changed my life, and that's when it was called Continental. And I was like, "Oh, I love this." But yes, no, Frontier I don't like because they like to change their rules like in front of you. And I've had a situation with my bag where that was like an issue where I flew there, it was no problem. But when I flew back, all of a sudden the rule changed because the person who was at the gate. It's like, what the fuck is this? And then Spirit has canceled my flight on so many occasions over the dumbest reasons. And when I needed like a voucher for a hotel, they gave me some like 25% off coupon for like a day's in. And it was nonsense. Followed by the next day when they gave me another flight that I just so happened to get the last seat for because, you know, everybody and their mama was trying to hop on the same flight that, you know, was already full. That flight got delayed like 6 times. And it was because they have to do some weird thing with the gates. Like Spirit doesn't own any gates. They like piggyback off of other people's gates and stuff like that. And so if it's a busy day at the airport, it's possible that those Spirit flights will be held up on the tarmac waiting for a gate to be open so they can get it's really they rent them or something like that versus how, you know, how they have like those ports where it's like all Delta, all Southwest, all United, all that kind of stuff. Spirit don't have that. And so like, and this was a while ago. They may have changed this up. I don't know if they got more money or whatever. But when I flew them back in the Gap, when they first came out, and everyone was like, "Ooh, $39 flights," and then you find out, "Oh, ramen noodle flight. What?" That was the shit I was dealing with. And that's why those flights always get canceled, pushed back. It's always late. Some flight attendant doesn't want to work past their shift. Flight attendants also have a certain time limit too that they have to work, and so you have been delayed by now 8-9 hours and you're expecting for a flight attendant to then continue on, which they're supposed to stop by regulations and rules, which now we can't move on because you need an extra flight attendant for what? Like, we just don't need to eat nothing. It's a 2-hour flight. Just let us go. Like, no, you got to have that many on there. It's insane. So yes, flying can be stressful, but it is supposed to be the safest form of transportation. And I will say that both my flights with United were actually very well. They're very good. Yeah, and I had a window seat for each one, so I was pleased. I need the window. I need to lean on something. All right, y'all. That was a little bit of the story time from the trip that I had. It was honestly an excellent experience. It was emotional. It was the best. I've never been more drunk in my entire life, but responsibly drunk. I never vomited. I never had a moment of the spins. Isn't that great? I didn't have not one moment with the spins. I had not one moment where I needed to throw up any of the liquor that I had. I was taking emergency each morning. Okay. Like every morning I was taking the emergency and I was also staying hydrated. We bought like a whole bunch of bottled water. I was drinking water down. Like I'd be drinking, but I'd be drinking water like at the same time too. I was being smart. And we were eating a lot of fruit. keeping the vitamin C and all that kind of stuff. So I was like determined to not be the bleh girl. And none of us were, which is amazing. Maybe somebody was and we didn't know, but like I never threw up and I was proud of myself or had the spins. The spins is my least favorite thing about getting drunk. Trying to be in that bed, trying to go to sleep, and then you open your eyes and you just see the world just moving in front of it, like, oh, no, can't do that. Can't, won't, will not. So that never happened, thank God. I also would like to attribute that to us sweating bullets while we were out there and it just being hot. So the pores were open the entire time. I feel like there was an equivalency or an equal exchange, if you will, of the sweat from the human body with the alcohol that is being consumed. A fan is going to be necessary if you do travel out there. I'm just going to tell you that as well. So portable fan or your clacker, whatever you need to get. But yeah. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I had a good time with this story. Tomorrow afternoon, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. You already know what's up. It's going to be All Stars 10, Episode 5 review. I'm going to be so excited to talk about it with you tomorrow. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Become part of this Rant Pack family. Drop a tippy boo in my jar if you feel like it with PayPal.me/MattyRants, Cash App $Matt924 or $MattyRants and Venmo MattyRants. I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Thank you for the super chats as well. DW Crash, Rudy Stitches, appreciate you down. I will see you tomorrow for Drag Race content, and enjoy the rest of your Friday evening or whatever day you are watching this. So yes, but yeah, be on the lookout for those edited videos. That'll be coming soon. So I got to get some of those videos compressed down, and also, yeah, the panel on Sunday as well. So yes, hopefully things go well with me over this weekend and we make up the difference in the fundos, but we'll figure it out. Either way, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow for Drag Race and the Mistress Isabel Brooks show. Bye.
Listen. Yeah.